Okay, so today we're going to be talking all about We'll Always Have Summer,
Right.
which is the second book in the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing a deep dive into it.
Right.
Looking at all of the excerpts you sent over to me.
Mm-hmm.
And just like really breaking down this love triangle
Okay.
and what we can learn from it.
Yeah, I'm good.
And just to remind everyone, this is a deep dive. So that
Yeah.
means that, spoilers are coming.
Of course.
So if you haven't read the book yet,
Right.
you've been warned.
Exactly.
So let's just get right into it.
Okay.
So right off the bat, we're thrown into this crazy world.
Yeah.
Belly's engaged.
Yeah, she's engaged to Jeremiah.
To Jeremiah.
Yeah.
But she's still so hung up on Conrad.
Well, right. And
you
it's
know,
complicated.
What's going on?
Yeah, and we don't have, all of the background information about their history, but clearly there's something there.
Right. And we know that they spent all these summers together and
Right, exactly. All those summers at Cousins Beach.
Cousins Beach.
I'm not just like, yeah.
What happened?
Well, and it's interesting to think about how Belly's feelings kind of changed over time.
Right? Like she was in love with Conrad for so long.
Exactly. Like from the time she was, 12 or something?
Yeah.
And now she's with Jeremiah.
Right. And they seem so different to me.
Well, yeah, they are different.
Like Conrad's all broody and mysterious.
Yeah, like the classic bad boy.
Yeah. And Jeremiah's just like sunshine and happiness.
Exactly. He's like the fun-loving one. Life of the party.
Right.
But I think it's interesting, too, to think about the kind of connection that they built during the school year.
Oh, yeah, because they weren't even...
Like when they weren't even at Cousins.
Right.
And they developed this really easygoing rapport.
Yeah, and that's so different from
Right,
the intensity
of her and Conrad.
Yeah, you can kind of see how Jeremiah represents like a safe haven for Belly.
Totally, like a break from all the drama. Yeah, exactly, like a comfortable stability that maybe she craves, after years of just wanting Conrad.
Yeah, and it's so sad because then Jeremiah goes and just blows everything.
Spring break in Cabo.
Spring break.
And he cheats on her.
Yeah. And with Lacey Barone, of all people.
Right. That's the worst part.
Like, talk about betrayal.
Yeah, that's like a direct hit to all of Belly's insecurities.
Right. Like, especially after her history with both of them.
Exactly.
Like, she can't escape them.
Yeah.
So, of course, she's devastated.
Of course she's devastated.
Like, who wouldn't be?
Right.
She's trying to get over him.
Mm-hmm.
She's angry.
Right.
She's hurt.
Yeah, and they try to make it work again.
Right, they do try.
Yeah.
But it's just...
But there's so much...
Not the same.
There's so much hurt there.
Yeah, and that stupid shell bracelet.
Oh, yeah, the shell bracelet.
Like it was supposed to.
It was supposed to be like this symbol of his love and his regret.
Right, but now it's just...
But for Belly, it's just a reminder.
A reminder.
Of how much he hurt her.
Of the betrayal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
then they get back together.
Yeah, and they decide to elope.
Like out of nowhere.
It's just so...
It's so impulsive.
Impulsive, yeah.
It's like... They clearly love each other.
They do.
A lot.
Right.
But this just feels
like... It feels like they're trying to...
Trying to avoid dealing with the problem.
Yeah, like they're just...
Like maybe if they just... get married.
Yeah.
Everything will be okay.
Right.
But we all know that's not how it works.
Exactly.
Right.
And their engagement is just like...
Yeah.
Built on this...
shaky ground.
Yeah.
So much has happened.
Are they really ready for marriage, or are they just like clinging to each other?
Right. Because they're scared.
Out of fear and desperation.
Yeah, and it's almost like they're trying to force a happy ending.
Yeah, no.
By like skipping over all the hard parts.
Skipping over the messy parts.
Yeah.
So now they're planning a wedding.
Yeah.
And Belly's like...
She wants something simple.
Yeah, she wants it small and intimate.
Right, like just close friends and family.
And then there's Taylor.
Taylor
who has like...
completely different ideas.
The opposite idea.
Yeah.
And it's just like... chaos.
It's wedding planning chaos.
Yeah.
It's like their whole personalities are clashing over, napkin colors and flower arrangements.
Yeah.
Do you remember that scene when they go dress shopping?
Oh, yeah. It's so telling.
Kelly is totally overwhelmed.
She's overwhelmed by the extravagance of it all.
Right.
And Kayla is just like...
She's loving it.
She's thriving. Like she's living her best life.
I know.
And it kind of makes you wonder... if their friendship is even going to survive all of this.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because this is a lot.
Yeah.
And then there's her mom.
Right. Laurel, who's just like...
Oh, she's not happy about this marriage.
Not happy at all.
She thinks it's a huge mistake.
Yeah, she does.
Mm.
Like, she doesn't think they should be getting married.
No. She wants him to wait.
Right, she's like, wait until after graduation.
At least.
Yeah.
And it just adds so much tension.
It really does.
You know?
Because it's like...
Because she's like this voice of reason.
Yeah, she's the voice of reason.
And all this craziness.
And then we can't forget about the brothers.
Oh, yeah.
And their relationship, which is just...
It's a mess.
Yeah, and it's like...
Like, it's always been strained. But then you add in the fact that they both have feelings for Belly.
Right, and it's just like a powdered keg.
Exactly.
Like, just waiting to explode.
Yeah, and then to make things even worse, Conrad decides to spend the summer at the beach house.
Oh, yeah, like, what is he thinking?
I know, right?
It's so awkward.
It's like one big awkward family reunion,
Yeah.
but with a lot more romantic tension.
And those stolen glances
Oh, yeah.
between Belly and Conrad.
Those late night talks about the stars.
It's like they can't help.
It's clear that there are still feelings there.
Yeah, they're drawn to each other
Yeah.
like magnets.
Exactly.
And of course, he's not stupid.
Right.
He can sense that there's something going on.
Yeah, and his insecurities just like
Oh, yeah.
start bubbling up.
It's like a ticking time bomb.
Right.
And then there's that scene with the peach.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it seems so simple.
It does.
But the way Han describes it,
Right.
you can just feel
You can feel the tension.
the intimacy between them.
Yeah.
Like, it's just this one peach,
Right.
but it's loaded with all this unspoken longing and connection.
Yeah, and it's almost like a slap in the face for Jeremiah.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like all of his fears
Yeah.
confirmed.
Like, she's choosing Conrad over him.
Right.
Even if it's just in that moment.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's when things really start to unravel.
Yeah. The arguments get worse.
They get more frequent.
Yeah.
The wedding planning.
It becomes a battleground.
Yeah, it's like they're not even planning a wedding anymore. They're fighting.
And then Jeremiah just like
yeah.
snatched.
He calls her Bridezilla.
Oh, gosh.
Right.
Like, that's
Not okay.
not okay at all.
No.
And it's like something shifts.
Yeah. Something breaks between them.
Right.
And Belly just...
She breaks down.
She breaks down
Yeah.
and admits that she's not even enjoying any of this.
Right. She's just doing it for Jeremiah.
Exactly.
Like, red flag.
A huge red flag.
Yeah.
And then Conrad.
Like
I don't know why he's butting in. But
Well,
he tries to explain.
he tries to give Belly
Yeah.
some perspective
Yeah.
on Jeremiah's behavior.
Like maybe he's feeling the pressure too.
Yeah, he's like, maybe Jeremiah's feeling the pressure
Of their family.
of the family.
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole legacy of their parents' relationship.
Yeah. You know,
Which, like, it makes you wonder
Yeah.
if Jeremiah is just as lost.
as lost as Belly.
Who has Belly? Yeah.
Right.
Like, is he really ready for this?
Exactly.
And then Conrad,
Yeah.
he gives Belly this necklace
The infinity necklace.
that he bought for her years ago.
Yeah, he was too afraid to give it to her before.
It's like such a romantic, but also like,
bittersweet gesture.
and then he drops the bombshell.
Bombshell.
He tells her
He tells her that
that he pushed her towards Jeremiah
after Susanna died.
after Susanna died. Like,
Right.
what?
He thought Jeremiah would be better for her.
He thought Jeremiah was stronger.
Yeah.
And that he couldn't give her what she needed.
Exactly.
Like, I can't even imagine.
It changes everything.
It does.
Like we see Conrad in a
Right.
whole new light now.
He's not just the
Yeah.
brooding bad boy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's someone who's made huge sacrifices for Belly.
Yeah.
Even if they were
Misguided.
misguided, yeah.
Right.
And now Belly's left with this huge secret,
Yeah.
like right before her wedding.
Right.
And she's questioning everything.
Everything.
She doesn't know what to do.
Right. She's like,
Who would believe?
does she go through with the wedding?
Right.
Does she choose Jeremiah?
Is Conrad telling the truth?
Or does she follow her heart and
Yeah.
maybe choose Conrad?
Like,
I
a
think-
lot. Yeah, this is a lot to process.
It is.
So I guess we'll have to wait until the next part to
Yeah.
see what happens.
Exactly.
But wow, this is juicy.
It is.
Like, I did not see this coming.
I know.
So stay tuned, everyone.
Yeah.
We'll be back soon to finish this deep dive
Definitely.
into We'll Always Have Summer.
Okay. I mean, talk about a cliffhanger, right?
Right? Like, I can't believe Conrad just dropped that bomb.
And right before the wedding.
I know. Like, what is Belly supposed to do with that information?
That's the thing, isn't it? Like, her whole world just got flipped upside down. Right. She thought she knew these guys.
Exactly. And now she's realizing that maybe she doesn't know them as well as she thought she did.
And she's about to marry one of them.
I know. Talk about pressure.
Right. And it's not just about choosing between Conrad and Jeremiah anymore.
No, it's bigger than that.
Like, it's about her figuring out who she is and what she really wants.
Exactly. Like, she's finally starting to question everything.
Right, like all the things she's been taking for granted.
Yeah, like her relationship with Jeremiah, her relationship with her mom,
Oh, yeah,
the whole
Lauren.
idea of marriage.
Right, like, is this really the life she wants?
And it's like all of these external pressures are just amplifying her internal struggles.
Totally. Like Laurel's disapproval,
Yeah.
financial worries, the constant reminder of Susanna.
Yeah, it's like she's trying to live up to this impossible standard.
And she's drowning.
And you can't forget about Conrad's confession.
Oh, yeah, that's like the biggest elephant in the room.
Right, like he basically admitted that he's been in love with her all along.
And that he sabotaged his own happiness.
Exactly, because he thought Jeremiah would be better for her.
Which is just insane.
It is kind of crazy when you think about it.
Like he's been carrying this secret for years.
And now he just dumps it on Belly right before her wedding.
It's like a ticking time bomb.
Right, and it completely changes the dynamic between them.
Totally. Like now every interaction is charged with this unspoken tension.
Yeah, and you can see how Belly's starting to pull away from Jeremiah.
Right, like she's physically there, but emotionally she's somewhere else.
And that's not fair to either of them.
No, it's not.
It's like they're both stuck in this limbo.
Waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Exactly. And then there's that scene when they're looking for an apartment together.
Oh, yeah, that was rough.
It's like the reality of their situation finally hits Belly.
Right, like she realizes that Jeremiah is not exactly financially stable.
And that he might be relying on his family's money.
Which she's not okay with.
No, she wants to build a life with him, not with his parents.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder if they've even talked about these things.
Yeah, like have they actually discussed their future?
Or they just caught up in this whirlwind of wedding planning.
It's like they're trying to create this perfect facade.
But the cracks are starting to show.
And then there's the bridal shower.
Oh, yeah.
Which should be this happy occasion,
Right.
but it's just so awkward.
I know, it's like everyone can sense that something's wrong.
Even Belly's friends are picking up on the tension.
And that toilet paper wedding dress competition.
Oh, God.
It's just like,
So forced.
yeah, like they're trying to create this sense of fun and excitement.
But it's all just a facade.
Exactly. And then Laurel shows up.
Which is a huge deal.
Right, like she's been so against the wedding.
Yeah, she's made it very clear that she doesn't approve.
So for her to come to the shower,
It's a big step,
yeah, it's like she's trying to make amends.
or at least acknowledge Belly's feelings.
Maybe she's finally starting to realize that she can't control her daughter's life.
Yeah, and it gives Belly this little glimmer of hope.
Right, like maybe everything will work out after all.
But, of course,
Of course.
things don't stay happy for long.
Nope, they go back to the beach house.
And the tension is thicker than ever.
It's like they're all walking on eggshells.
Afraid to say or do the wrong thing,
And Conrad's still there,
right? Lurking in the background.
like a ghost from the past.
And Jeremiah's jealousy is just eating him alive.
Yeah, you can see it in his eyes.
He knows that Belly's still drawn to Conrad,
And he's starting to lose it.
and then he snaps.
He calls her Bridezilla,
I know.
which is like the worst possible thing he could say.
Right, in that moment.
Yeah, it's like he's confirming all of her fears.
That he doesn't understand her.
That he doesn't respect her.
That he's not the right guy for her.
And Belly finally breaks down.
She admits that she's not happy.
That she's not enjoying any of this.
That she's just going through the motions.
For him,
It's a heartbreaking confession.
it really is.
Because you can see how much it hurts Jeremiah.
Right, like he thought he was giving her what she wanted.
He thought he was making her happy.
But he wasn't.
No, he was just trying to fill a void.
And now he's realizing that maybe he can't.
And then Conrad steps in. He tries to explain Jeremiah's behavior.
Like he's some kind of expert on his brother.
Right.
He's like, maybe Jeremiah is just feeling the pressure.
The pressure of their parents' legacy,
The pressure of living up to everyone's expectations.
which is actually a pretty insightful observation.
Yeah, it is.
It makes you realize that Jeremiah might be just as lost and confused as Belly.
Exactly. Like maybe he's not ready for marriage either.
Maybe he's just clinging to the idea of it.
Because it feels safe and familiar.
Right, like it's a way to recreate the family he lost.
But that's not a good foundation for a marriage.
No, it's not.
And then Conrad gives Belly the infinity necklace.
Oh my God.
The one he bought for her years ago.
The one he was too afraid to give her.
Right. And it's like this symbol of his enduring love.
His unwavering devotion.
But it's also a reminder of the path not taken.
Of the what ifs and could have beens.
And then he drops the bombshell.
He tells her that he pushed her towards Jeremiah
On purpose.
after Susanna died.
Like what?
He thought Jeremiah was stronger.
That he could handle Belly's grief better than he could.
He didn't think he was good enough for her.
I can't even imagine.
It's a lot to process.
It is.
especially right before your wedding.
Right? Like, what is Belly supposed to do with this information?
I don't know, but I can't wait to find out.
Me neither. It's getting good.
So Bella's got like less than 24 hours until she's supposed to say, I do.
And her world is just completely imploded.
Right. It's like she's having this massive existential crisis on top of a wedding planning meltdown.
And it's all happening at the beach house where she has all these memories with both Conrad and Jeremiah.
Talk about adding fuel to the fire.
It's like she can't escape her past no matter where she turns.
And it's not just the romance that's weighing on her,
Right. She's also dealing with Laurel's disapproval.
which is a huge deal for Belly.
She's always craved her mom's approval.
And Laurel's been so vocal about her dislike of the whole Jeremiah situation.
It's like she's constantly reminding Belly that she's making a mistake,
And then there's the whole financial thing with Jeremiah.
which is a valid concern.
Absolutely. Like, they haven't even discussed how they're going to support themselves.
It's like they've been so focused on the wedding that they've completely ignored the reality of their future,
Exactly. And it makes you wonder if they're truly compatible.
or if they're just clinging to each other out of fear and insecurity.
And let's not forget the elephant in the room,
Conrad.
right? Like, his presence is a constant reminder of what could have been,
Every time they look at each other, it's like this unspoken conversation.
full of longing and regret and what ifs.
And then Conrad leaves,
Yeah, he packs his bags and just drives away.
which is kind of a relief,
Right, because the tension was just too much.
but it's also heartbreaking,
It is, like, you can see how much it hurts Belly.
even though she knows it's for the best.
Right, like, his presence was just making things more complicated.
And it's in that moment when he leaves that she finally realizes the truth.
She can't marry Jeremiah.
Not when her heart is with someone else.
It's a tough realization.
It is, but it's also incredibly empowering.
Right, like, she's finally choosing herself,
She's putting her own happiness first
even if it means breaking Jeremiah's heart.
and disappointing her mom.
But it's her life.
And she deserves to be with someone who truly loves her
Someone who sees her for who she is.
and someone who she can be herself with.
So she calls off the wedding,
Just hours before it's supposed to start,
and it's a mess.
everyone's devastated,
Especially Jeremiah.
but Belly knows it's the right decision.
She's finally free.
Free from the expectations of others,
Free from the weight of her past.
and free to finally figure out who she's meant to be.
And that's the beauty of this story.
Right? It's not just a love triangle.
It's a journey of self-discovery
It's about learning to trust your gut,
and making choices that align with your values.
even if it means going against what everyone else expects of you,
Exactly. It's like sometimes you have to break your own heart.
to find your true happiness.
And that's what Belly does.
She takes a leap of faith
And walks away from everything she thought she wanted.
to create a future that's authentically hers.
And that's a powerful message for anyone who's ever felt lost or uncertain.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's okay to not have all the answers.
It's okay to make mistakes.
It's okay to change your mind.
And it's okay to choose yourself.
So there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into We'll Always Have Summer.
A story about love and loss and the messy, beautiful journey of growing up.
In figuring out who you are.
We hope you enjoyed it.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive into the world of books.